Hey Tea Squad, grab your cup because today's story is chilling, twisted, and honestly feels like something straight out of a Netflix series. We're talking about the case of Sarah Grace Patrick, a Georgia teen who is now accused of committing one of the darkest crimes imaginable, murdering her own mother and stepfather while publicly grieving online and even asking true crime TikTokers to cover the story. It all started earlier this year in Carrollton, Georgia. The Patrick family's world was ripped apart when 6-year-old Olivia, Sarah's younger half-sister, discovered the bodies of their mom, Kristen Brock, and their stepdad, James Brock, shot in their bed. Sarah was the one who dialed 911, sounding like a devastated big sister reacting to her siblings' horrifying discovery. To the outside world, it looked like a tragic home invasion, two parents gunned down in what should have been the safety of their own home. But as investigators dug deeper, cracks in the story began to show. At the funeral, Sarah stood before friends and family and delivered a tearful eulogy. She called her mom a beautiful, kind soul and said she was sorry. But some people found her words off. Instead of raw grief, her tone came across more like a rehearsed speech. And then came TikTok. Sarah began posting emotional tributes, describing her life as a horror movie and begging for comfort. But it didn't stop there. She started messaging true crime influencers, asking them to cover the case. She allegedly told one creator, "Search up the Brock case. They're my parents. Someone came in and shot my parents brutally." And in another message, she suggested that coverage of the murders would be a really big hit. Yep, you heard that right. While her family had just been slaughtered, she was pitching their deaths to creators like it was a trending topic. At first, police didn't have a clear suspect, but behind the scenes, they were pulling in both physical and digital evidence, everything from phone records, computer logs, and social media activity. Authorities later revealed they had mountains of digital proof linking Sarah to the crime. The exact details are still sealed, but clearly, they felt confident enough to bring charges against her. Just under 6 months later, Sarah turned herself in. She wasn't treated as a confused kid caught up in something bigger. She was charged as an adult with 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of aggravated assault. And yes, the trial ahead will decide if she truly was behind her parents' deaths, or if this is one of the darkest cases of mistaken suspicion. Here's where things get complicated. Sarah's grandfather, Dennis Nolan, insists she's innocent. He's spoken publicly, saying there's no real evidence tying her to the killings. Her father, Daniel Patrick, also stood by her when she surrendered, saying he trusts her and doesn't believe she's capable of this. But prosecutors tell a different story. They ask the court to keep her locked up without bond, warning she could be a flight risk or even a danger to her little sister, Olivia, the same child who found the bodies. The judge agreed and denied bond. As of now, Sarah sits in jail awaiting trial, which is expected to happen next year. The most haunting part of this case isn't just the crime, it's how Sarah allegedly used social media in the aftermath. Her posts painted her as a grieving daughter, but behind closed doors, she was allegedly pushing true crime creators to spotlight her parents' murders, almost like she was watching the story play out in real time. It raises questions. Was this guilt bubbling to the surface? Or was she trying to control the narrative and deflect suspicion? Either way, it's chilling. This case is far from over. If the allegations are true, we're looking at one of the most disturbing examples of someone blending tragedy with TikTok clout chasing. If it's not true, then we're staring at a teenager being accused of the unthinkable while she's genuinely grieving. One thing's for sure, this trial is going to be massive, with the internet watching every single update. So, T-Squad, what do you think? Do Sarah's TikToks and messages scream guilt? Or do they show a confused teen spiraling in grief? Let me know in the comments, I'll be reading them. And remember, if you'd like to support Dropping the True Crime Tea, the links are below and in the pinned comment. Every like, share, and comment keeps the kettle boiling so we can keep diving into these cases together. Until next time, keep sipping the tea, but never forget, the truth is often stranger and darker than fiction.